All right, obviously, we'll take the 4-0 start. Very pleased to be sitting there 4 games in with the schedule that we've had with 2 true road wins. And, obviously tonight, Nick, first of all, Nick does a great job. And Nick's somebody that he comes and visits us in the summers. We've got good common friends, and he and I have talked ball a lot. They run very good stuff. And, they played us close last year, probably even a little bit closer than they did this year. But they have spacing. They've got a bunch of guards. We knew it was going to be hard to guard them off the bounce. We knew they were going to space the floor. They do a phenomenal job cutting. And I thought tonight we did some pretty good things offensively, especially in the second half. Defensively, we weren't as disciplined as we need to be. And our team knows that. I know that. We know that. And sometimes that can happen. You get off to a big start. You get a big lead early. You get out the gate. They call a timeout. And then all of a sudden, your defensive focus drops. And, from experience, once that focus drops, it's really hard to get it back, and you've got to make sure that you play for 40 minutes. And, they did a good job. They really stressed us on the baseline, which is something in our defense we don't like to allow. And they were very persistent to the baseline. We did a bad job cutting it off. We had to rotate more than we would like. And then they got it on the backside, and they were able to drive those and shoot those on the back. And they were persistent to the paint. So there's a lot that we'll be able to take away from this, and we'll be able to clean some things up defensively. Offensively, however, I liked what we did, especially in the second half. And they were really trying to really trick the game up, and they were showing zone, and as soon as they hit the high post, they were going man. They didn't want to guard some of our man-to-man offense, and so what we started doing in the second half, we just basically ran our man-to-man offense. And once it got to the high post, when they shifted to man, we were already in our flow, as opposed to going zone offense, and then they're matching it, and then we're playing zone offense against their man. Obviously, it wasn't as clean, it wasn't as fluid, but once we started doing that, I think we shot 50% in the second half, 40% from 3, and we had 20 assists for the game. I love that, but I thought we did a much better job playing inside out. And obviously, credit to Noah, only the second player in Furman history to be able to go 10 for 10 in a game besides Ross Hunt in 1972. And, he had 25 points tonight. I thought he could add 35, but credit to he and Slauson. They were 14 for 14 in the post, and I thought they played well.
Is there a point in a game like tonight where you said they were kind of jumping it up on the defensive end a little bit? As a coach, do you just have to do you ever see your players kind of get caught in trying to see what kind of defense they're in and just say, hey, guys, just run our offense?
Yeah, that's kind of the way we wanted to go about it tonight. I think at first we had pretty good flow, and again, good, smart coaching by Nick. Figure out a way to slow us down. And I thought they thought that basically, hey, we'll show zone, and then when it goes in the high post, we'll go to man. And that's kind of it's what happens in our game a lot. And right now, Texas Tech's done that a little bit last year, so they got that shark defense. So everybody's kind of doing it a little bit, and it's good. It's really good, and it can really confuse a lot of people. But for us, we just finally saw it, and it's like, hey, if they're going to match up when it goes in the high post, well, let's just throw it in the high post and let's start cutting. And I thought that brought a little confusion to them. And then, clearly once Noah got going, we were just trying to figure out any way we could get it to him and play out of him.
Let's talk about, there's been, I think the last 3 games, there's been a run out with that Jalen's length has made a difference. And kind of, you guys on the perimeters length has made a difference. Just talk about how important those early impact plays are.
Yeah, that was one of the goals tonight. We had a couple of goals that we wanted to hit tonight, and a couple of them we did, a couple of them we didn't. But one that we did was our deflection count, and we've been playing really well in terms of our positional defense, and we've been pretty clean in our rotations, and we've guarded the ball well. One thing that we haven't done that we like to do around here is get 30 or more deflections a night. And we've been averaging about 22 and a half deflections in these first 3 games. And it hasn't cost us because our positional defense has been good. We haven't been fouling. We've been doing a great job of flowing and having verticality at the rim. But if we can add that piece of it and start getting our hands on balls, then we're going to be able to get into some more transition. And tonight we did. We got to halftime. We had 20 deflections. The problem is again, disciplined aggression. That's what we want to do. That's what we like to be about. And we put so much emphasis on getting those deflection counts up that I thought we got out of discipline. And I thought we had too many gambles. And it was a little bit too feast or famine. So, I like the hand activity. I like the fact that Slauson and Noah and Clay and all those guys can get their hands on balls, I think that can get you going and that can get your tempo up. We just got to be cleaner with it, and we want to force them to make a mistake. We don't want to go out there and make gambles and create advantages for them and give them leverage points. We want to make them make mistakes, and if we're playing with length and we've got our hands out and we're in the right position, usually good things happen for us.
Noah Gurley tonight. One of the things I've noticed early on this season, in the post, he's so polished. Can you talk about him working with Coach Johnson during the summer and how much of a difference Coach Johnson's made, not only with him, but all of the big men?
Yeah, Coach Johnson's the best I've seen coaching post players. And, I would say, Brian Thornton, my first year here, was really, really good at it. And those two are the best that I've seen as an assistant, as a head coach, of working with bigs. And I think the commonality between those two is they both played the spot. And, I think having that luxury, it's not so much as somebody a good big coach or they're not a big coach. When you've done it, we all as coaches know the basics of post play. But, what I love about Coach Johnson is when I watch it, and sometimes when we do positional work, I'll just watch it because I like to learn and I like to see how he does it. And a lot of it, what it is he's able to give the example. He's able to give the model. And there's the small details that he really picks up on, and the angles and the positioning and all the little things that, from a macro standpoint, we all know post play, but when you get down to the micro, a lot of times that's where the difference is. And when you have a kid like Matt Rafferty, he just instinctively, he just has all that, right? There wasn't a lot of coaching there. Matt Rafferty was just instinctual, and he had great feel, and he just knew the game so well. But with Noah and Jalen Slauson, those guys have great length, great athleticism, and to both of their credit, regardless of who the position coach is, they both decided to commit this summer and put in the time. And I think when you put great teaching with that, and you put somebody that's going to hold them to a high standard and that's going to demand a lot from them, which he does as well, then I think you give yourself a chance to grow. And I tell you what he's doing with Johnny Lawrence right now, what he's doing with Ben Beaker, it's he's brought a ton of value to this staff, and I love him being here.
On to the next game. Just talk about the challenges of going to a Power 5 and SEC gym to play down there at Alabama on Tuesday night. Yeah,
a lot of respect for Nate Oates and what they did at Buffalo. I watched a little bit of their stuff this summer, and the tempo that they play at, they're going to really test us in transition. And to be honest with you, almost more after a made basket sometimes than even after a miss. They really get the ball out. They get it out fast. They're as good as anybody I've seen on film of really advancing the ball early through the pitch ahead, crossing the street, moving it to the weak side and playing backside numbers. They do a very, very good job of it. And obviously they've got high major talent. You're going in there and you're playing SEC opponents. But, the great thing I love about our group, we've got great length, we've got enough shooters, and we've got some guys that have been in venues like that before. And it's going to be a great game. We got to go down there and we got to guard the way we're capable of guarding. We've got to be able to get back in transition defense, and then we've got to play connected on both ends of the floor. And if we can do that, if we can take care of the ball and we can play sound defense, then hopefully we can give them a good game. But I think that our group will be excited to play. I think our group will be excited to be able to. This will be our first high major game of the season, and it'll be a great test for us. But fortunately, this like I said, we've been in some tough venues, and we've already been in 2 on the road. Obviously, this is going to be much larger. This is going to be a much bigger stage, but I think our guys will be ready to play.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach.
Thank you.